Tonight, the families of victims in Uvalde outraged after the Texas public safety chief admits there were enough officers and enough information to go into the school after just 10 minutes. But instead, they waited for more than an hour.
I lost my damn son. Your anger is not going to outmatch mine, man.
Parents demand action, and tonight, the new body cam video. The president on the road.
Great economic report today.
Touting the good news that the U.S. economy grew slowly over the summer. But with mortgage rates now at a 20-year high, are we still headed toward a recession? Putin's ominous warning to the West. CBS's Holly Williams is in Ukraine with an American fighting against Russia.
The carnage you're describing sounds like something out of World War II.
Yeah.
Tonight's Eye on America, CBS's Ben Tracy on how parts of the mighty Mississippi now look like a desert and why that could impact the price of things you buy. And the New York City bus driver being hailed a hero after a hijacking.
This is the CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell, reporting from the nation's capital.
This October, Paramount Plus is your destination for peak screaming.
Scary equals...
With maniacal movies like Orphan, First Kill.
It's lovely to be back.
Frightening family films like Monster High, the movie.
Welcome to Monster High.
Scary series like Evil, Ghosts, and Teen Wolf.
There's something out there.
Plus an entire collection of other devilish delights. Peak screaming on Paramount Plus. Stream now.
Hi, podcast peeps. It's me, Drew Barrymore. Oh, my goodness. I want to tell you about our new show. It's the Drew's News podcast. And in each episode, me and a weekly guest are going to cover all the quirky, fun, inspiring, and informative stories that exist out in the world because, well, I need it. And maybe you do too. From the newest interior design trend, Barbiecore, to the right and wrong way to wash your armpits. Also, we're going to get into things that you just kind of won't believe and we're not able to do in daytime television, so watch out. Listen to Drew's News wherever you get your podcasts. It's your good news on the go.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Tonight, we return to a community still in pain, still searching for answers, and still wondering why it took police more than an hour to enter the classroom where a gunman was murdering fourth graders. At a hearing today, families had their first face-to-face confrontation with the Texas public safety chief. He's the one in charge of the dozens of state troopers who waited in the hallway during the deadliest elementary school shooting in a decade. Today, Colonel Stephen McGraw admitted his officers made mistakes, but defiantly refused to step down. Grieving family members told McGraw he has disgraced the state of Texas. New information about the response was revealed today, leaving those who lost loved ones to question why police didn't try and save the lives of 19 children and 2 teachers. Today's tense hearing took place in Austin, and that's where CBS's Janet Shamlian is. Good evening, Janet.
Norah, good evening to you. Family members say the lack of information and accountability, now 5 months after the shooting, makes them feel like they are being victimized all over again.
Angry families of Uvalde victims demanding the resignation of DPS Director Steve McCraw.
If you're a man of your word, you'll resign. We're not waiting any longer.
McCraw previously said he'd step down if any of his officers had culpability in the botched response. One trooper, Juan Maldonado, was fired last week for his inaction, and others are under investigation. Maldonado can be seen in this body cam video, obtained by a San Antonio station.
This is so sad, dude. He shot kids, bro.
The video also contains audio of unidentified officers concerned about their own safety while the gunman was inside with the children.
What's the safest way to do this? I'm not trying to get clapped out.
But at today's hearing, in his first public comment since June, McCraw was defiant.
But I can tell you this right now, DPS is an institution, okay, right now, did not fail the community, plain and simple.
Jesse Rizzo, the uncle of Jackie Cazares, blamed McCraw for what he called continued misinformation, tearing the community apart.
Our town is divided. Our teachers feel betrayed.
McCraw blamed local police in the days after the massacre. DPS had 91 officers on scene. Brett Cross was the legal guardian of 10-year-old Uzziah Garcia, one of the 19 children killed in the massacre.
This is the person that's in charge of DPS, and he flat out lied. I called him on his bullshit, and he still lied.
McCraw today said the DPS investigation is continuing and will be presented to the district attorney by year's end. Norah.
So feeling for all those parents and family members. Janet Shamlian, thank you. Well, there is breaking news tonight in the January 6th investigation. CBS News has learned that congressional investigators looking into the attack on the Capitol are planning to call back 2 senior members from the Secret Service. What do they want to know? Well, we get the details now from CBS's Scott McFarland.
Tonight, the January 6th committee has its sights set on the Secret Service with plans to interview Tony Ornato, the now retired agency official whose name was featured prominently during former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony earlier this year.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president. Take me up to the Capitol now."
Hutchinson said Ornato told her of an episode on January 6, 2021, inside Trump's Suburban, in which the former president lunged at his lead Secret Service agent, Robert Engel, urging to be driven to the Capitol as the rioters arrived there.
The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel.
Engel has been called to testify, as has the unnamed driver of the presidential vehicle. Meanwhile, tomorrow marks 1 week until the deadline for the former president to respond to the committee's subpoena for documents. One committee member tells CBS News there's still no firm indication if Trump will comply.
And Scott, so why are they bringing them back? What do they want to know?
They only have weeks left for this committee, but they just recently got a voluminous set of new Secret Service records. It's far from clear if the witnesses have talked about that incident in the vehicle involving former President Trump. And the committee wants to know how early in the day Trump knew about the attack at the Capitol.
Scott McFarland, thank you. Well, today, one of the January 6 rioters who attacked D.C. officer Michael Fanone received one of the harshest sentences yet, 7.5 years in prison. Albuquerque Head was seen dragging Fanone outside the Capitol, yelling to the crowd, "I got one." Prosecutors called it barbaric. Head pleaded guilty to assaulting Fanone. We learned today that the U.S. economy rebounded slightly in recent months. It snapped 2 straight declining quarters, growing at an annual rate of 2.6% from July to September. But there are still troubling signs. The average interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage now tops 7% for the first time in more than 20 years. CBS's Weijia Jiang now on the mixed signals and what it means for Americans struggling to get by.
President Biden hit the campaign trail in upstate New York today, praising the latest GDP number as a sign of better days ahead.
Economic growth is up, the price of inflation is down, real incomes are up, and the price of gas is down.
But prices are still soaring. Groceries up by 13% over the past year, electricity by 15.5%, and rent by nearly 7%.
There's definitely some sort of disconnect.
Outside of Dallas, Lisa Jackie says Mr. Biden's optimism does not match her reality. The single mother of 4 was laid off in February, now substitute teaching and doing odd jobs to make ends meet.
It's a struggle day to day. I feel like it's a day-to-day search to figure out how we're going to meet the needs in the house for the bills, for the food.
With mortgage rates at a 20-year high, the result of aggressive interest hikes by the Federal Reserve. Economists say another consequence is looming.
We do think a recession in 2023 is more likely than not. It could start as early as the first quarter.
Just 12 days away from the midterm elections, Republicans are using the economic headwinds to hammer the Democrats.
And what has happened through this White House and this Congress is they have declared war on people's pocketbooks.
President Biden argued that the GOP's economic plans would only benefit the wealthy.
Well, it will make inflation worse if they succeed.
Tomorrow, President Biden is heading back to Pennsylvania, where the U.S. Senate race is neck and neck. Today, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was overheard on a hot mic telling Mr. Biden that Tuesday's Pennsylvania Senate debate between Democrat John Fetterman and celebrity doctor Mehmet Oz
did not hurt us too much. That is a quote, didn't hurt us too much, a reference to Fetterman's difficulty answering some questions. The Democrat is recovering from a stroke. Norah?
Weijia Jiang, thank you. Well, with the midterm elections less than 2 weeks away, the New York City Police Department is warning that racially motivated and anti-government extremists could target poll workers, political rallies, politicians, and voting sites in the days leading up to the elections. In a bulletin obtained by CBS News, the NYPD says there are currently no specific threats, but it's advising elevated vigilance. Tonight, the Jewish community in Pittsburgh came together to honor the memory of the 11 Jews who were murdered on this date 4 years ago in a horrific attack on the Tree of Life synagogue. This comes amid a growing wave of anti-Semitism in the U.S. CBS's Elise Preston reports tonight from Pittsburgh.
Hundreds of people came together tonight to mark 4 years since the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in American history.
It's really important to come together. It's a little scary to think that I'm raising a kid who is Jewish in a world where anti-Semitism is really a problem.
The shooting happened on a Saturday morning as worshipers gathered inside the Tree of Life synagogue to celebrate their faith. It shattered the community. Rabbi Jeffrey Myers still leads the congregation.
I'm outraged and offended as an American that I still have to live in a country where this goes on. It's unacceptable.
Today's ceremony comes as anti-Semitism is on the rise nationwide. The Anti-Defamation League reported a 34% increase in incidents from 2020 to 2021. This as fallout from Kanye West's anti-Semitic comments continue. A growing number of corporations are cutting ties with West, but he was back on Instagram today after being suspended, writing in part, "I lost $2 billion in one day and I'm still alive." 4 years later, Rabbi Myers is still hopeful.
I'm not going to let this evil wear me down and make me become another victim. I have hope for a brighter future and a better tomorrow.
In a statement today, President Biden paid tribute to the victims, adding that he is committed to tackling gun violence that has stolen lives here in Pittsburgh and across the country. Norah?
Elise Preston, thank you. Well, overseas today, Russian President Vladimir Putin claimed the world faces the most dangerous decade since World War II. In a nearly 4-hour diatribe, he blamed the U.S. and the West for the war in Ukraine, and then he denied threatening to use nuclear weapons. Well, CBS's Holly Williams today got a first-hand account of the horrors of that war from an American volunteer in Ukraine. We want to warn you that some of what he describes is disturbing.
You could hear shooting, but then you could also hear grunts and people like fighting to the death with their bare hands.
He's from Tennessee, he told us, and came to fight in Ukraine because he was horrified by the Russian invasion. He wants to be known only by his call sign, Elvis.
The carnage you're describing sounds like something out of World War II.
Yeah. This is nothing like any conflict in the past 70 to 80 years.
On the front line in southern Ukraine, he says, he repeatedly witnessed Russian forces using white phosphorus munitions.
It comes down extremely slow, but there's nothing you can do, and everything it touches just incinerates.
Including this incident.
About 20 or 30 guys burning alive, and several gunshots, because there was nothing else they do. So a lot of guys have suicide pistols, and you'd hear them scream, and then they would say goodbye and then blow their own heads off.
Elvis, that must have been horrific.
It's war. At least that's what I tell myself.
He admits that he's traumatized.
Do you still think this is a righteous war?
Yes, absolutely. We're fighting pure evil. Anybody in the West that asks Ukraine to just do peace talks, they need to go through these villages. They need to see what's been done to these people. If China invaded the U.S., hypothetically, massacred thousands, do you think the U.S. would just sue for peace? No.
Russia has previously denied using white phosphorus munitions here in Ukraine. Elvis told us that if other Americans are thinking of volunteering with Ukraine's military, they should know they'll be fighting for their lives. Norah.
Incredibly chilling interview. Holly Williams, thank you. Well, tonight, Elon Musk could be just hours away from owning Twitter. The billionaire was back at headquarters today and tweeted that he envisions the social media platform as a digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated. But he also said Twitter, quote, cannot become a free-for-all hellscape. Well, Wednesday, he brought a sink to Twitter and joked, let that sink in. Musk expects to close his $44 billion deal tomorrow. Well, we want to turn now to the worsening drought in the Midwest. Water levels along the Mississippi River are now at record lows. That could be catastrophic for businesses and consumers. In tonight's Eye on America, CBS's Ben Tracy shows us what's being done to keep commerce moving.
The mighty Mississippi might need a new nickname. North of Memphis, it looks more like a desert than a river. Barge traffic up and down this crucial corridor is slowed or stranded. Economic costs are estimated to be in the billions.
How bad are things on the river right now?
It's stark. We are seeing operational challenges that are almost unprecedented.
Paul Rohde represents the river shipping and towing industry. He says the Mississippi is plunging to record low levels just as farmers send their harvests downriver for export.
1/12 of the world's population eats something that emanates from the Mississippi River Basin. 40% of the global food supply starts at the Mississippi River Basin. So this is a serious issue about who's going to feed the world if America can't get its agriculture products out.
These massive barges also carry everything from coal and petroleum to fertilizer and road salt.
This is like a superhighway.
It's absolutely a water superhighway. This is irreplaceable. We have got to keep commerce moving.
That's the job of the Army Corps of Engineers. It's been dredging the river nonstop for 3 months.
So you guys are doing this 24/7?
24/7. Near St. Louis, they are desperately trying to maintain a 9-foot deep shipping channel, sucking up enough sand and silt to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool every hour.
So we've had 3 dredges working in our reach of the river to keep things open based on the forecast.
If this drought continues, can you dredge your way out of this?
We can dredge it to a certain point and then Mother Nature wins.
Climate change is making Mother Nature unpredictable. St. Louis was hit with record-shattering rainfall in July, right before the drought began.
What's your biggest concern?
No clouds, no rain.
And you need more than a little rain.
A lot more.
The drought is expected to last through January, threatening this critical supply chain that rides on a receding ribbon of water. For Eye on America, I'm Ben Tracy in St. Louis.
A hijacker took a city bus for a frightening ride. We'll tell you how it ended when we come back.
Now streaming.
I used to believe in progress, that no matter what we do, we just end up back at the start. We're in crazy time.
The Paramount Plus original series, The Good Fight, returns for its final season.
The point isn't the end. The point is winning.
Yes!
There are bad people in the world. The best way to protect the good people is to convict the bad.
So here's to us.
The Good Fight, the final season, now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
With Paramount Plus, the time has come to dance, laugh, sing, stand up, and celebrate. Hooray! From original series like Cecilia and Star Trek Discovery.
We are your family.
To family favorites like Dora the Explorer and the Casa Grandes.
Now this is a party.
To new movies like Secret Headquarters and Beatriz at Dinner.
Nice to meet you.
Let's rediscover who we are, how far we've come, and where we'll go next. One mountain, una familia. Stream the Hispanic Heritage Collection on Paramount Plus.
Rush hour in New York took a scary turn when a man with a fake gun hijacked a city bus. A security camera captured it driving down the street. Police say the driver got the passengers off the bus, and then he later jumped out a window. The hijacker then took the wheel, but only made it a block or so before crashing it into a telephone pole. Tonight, he's under arrest. Tonight, 7 people are recovering from a terrifying train derailment at an amusement park in Branson, Missouri. 3 cars somehow toppled off the tracks and fell sideways, injuring 6 passengers and a worker who were taken to hospitals. All are expected to be okay. The 20-minute train ride has been a popular attraction at the park for 60 years. Prince Harry is opening up in his new memoir. We'll have a preview just ahead. Tonight, we're closer to learning whether anyone will face criminal charges in the deadly shooting on the set of Rust. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office delivered its report to local prosecutors. Remember, last October, cinematographer Helena Hutchins was accidentally shot and killed when a prop gun handled by Alec Baldwin was loaded with live bullets. Well, tonight, Prince Harry's publisher is dropping a few clues about what we can expect from his upcoming memoir. It's going to be called Spare, as in heir and spare. While older brother William is heir to the throne, Harry and wife Meghan have stepped away from royal duties. The book comes out in January and will deal extensively with Harry's pain after losing his mother, Princess Diana. All 6 living First Ladies of the United States are teaming up for a long overdue honor right here in Washington. That story is next.
A popular college professor found dead in a hot tub. Accident or murder? Suspected her boyfriend. Then, a stunning act from their host. A sudden shotgun blast.
There's something he's hiding.
Follow and listen to the 48 Hours podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What happened to her, Mario? How could she simply disappear after she was with you?
I don't have answers for that.
48 Hours and CBS News present.
I'm just going to ask you straight out. Did you kill Christy Wilson?
No, I had nothing to do with her disappearance.
Another season of My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty. Award-winning correspondent Erin Moriarty brings you face-to-face with killers.
I will never say that I'm a cold-blooded killer. I will never say I'm a murderer.
And the people they took from.
My son died running for his life.
This season, follow the evidence with Erin, beyond the speculation, including in the death of boxing legend Arturo Gatti.
My gut says I don't think he would take his life.
I know my husband killed himself.
Listen to My Life of Crime from 48 Hours, wherever you get your podcasts.
All of the living First Ladies are coming together to spearhead an effort to recognize remarkable trailblazers who paved the way for generations of women. The goal is to bring a women's suffrage national monument to the National Mall right here in the heart of the nation's capital. Tonight, the team is unveiling ambassadors that will join together to make it a reality. I will become an ambassador to the project alongside strong women like Rosario Dawson, Allie Reisman, Retta Doris Kearns Goodwin, and the longest-serving woman in Congress, former Senator Barbara Mikulski. That is tonight's CBS Evening News. And remember, if you can't watch us live, set your DVR so you can watch us later. I'm Norah O'Donnell. Good night.
I'm Mo Rocca, and it's been a while. But I've been busy digging up even more stories about the people and things of the past that are fascinating me now.
What did your father think of the label, of the whole idea of the Latin lover?
From the screen idols who redefined Hollywood's leading man.
I think it was a love-hate relationship. My dad hated the word macho.
That's what I call the Latin lover type of a role, which is one-dimensional.
To the dog who introduced millions of kids to classic literature.
I remember, on my 10th birthday, I think it was, we were going to go mini golfing, and I insisted, but we had to stay home for Wishbone first.
Listen to Mobituaries wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, podcast fans, Stephen Colbert here to tell you all about The Late Show Pod Show with Stephen Colbert. The Late Show Pod Show is a podcast featuring everything you love about the #1 show in late night. It's got the jokes, the goofs, the monologue, the sizzling celebrity interviews, plus moments never before seen on TV, all wrapped up in a podcast that drops new episodes 7 days a week. With The Late Show Pod Show, you can listen to The Late Show while driving home from work or cooking dinner or getting ready for bed. By the way, amazing job flossing. Your dentist is going to be so proud. Listen to The Late Show Pod Show with Stephen Colbert on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.